NCIS and NCIS Hawaii just had one of their most critical episodes, and everyone was waiting anxiously for the follow-up. But the next episode just never came. Well, it was recently announced that the two shows were actually being postponed. A lot of people thought there were issues with the production, but it wasn't that. It was something totally unrelated. In this video, we're going to be going over what went down. First, a major cliffhanger. Usually, when any NCIS episode ends, regardless of the series, they always tend to play the preview of the next episode right away. It gives the viewers enough of a glimpse of the episode to keep them going until the next one is aired. Pretty standard for most shows, right? The only time you'd usually not see a preview would be when the season concluded, or worse, got canceled. NCIS New Orleans, we're looking at you. When the last episode of the show aired on the 24th of January, with major characters making their exit on both shows, it was already a pretty emotional time. But things got worse when there was no preview afterward. That immediately threw fans into a frenzy, thinking that their favorite series might have faced an unexpected end. That, paired with the cryptic and emotional posts from the actors on social media, like Jimmy Palmer posting, "Sometimes people leave," really made it seem like something major went down and the show wouldn't be coming back, and we just have to sit and wonder what happens next. Then came the confirmation that the shows weren't going to go ahead on schedule and that they were going on an unexpected hiatus. So, what's the holdup? NCIS and NCIS Hawaii were both going very strong, and even though the franchise has been around for decades, the fans were still watching and loving each episode as it came out. So it came as a bit of a shock when it was announced that the show wasn't going to be progressing on the expected schedule. At first, people thought that something might have gone awry with the production of the show, which is something that's happened to other movies and shows in the past couple of months. But the real reason was something else. The show is actually being delayed because of the Winter Olympics, which started on February 6th. The Winter Olympics are actually taking place a whole year after they were originally supposed to. They were postponed because of the pandemic early last year. But fans don't need to worry too much because NCIS's official Twitter page came out and clarified a few things. They ended up announcing that the 14th episode of NCIS Hawaii will be coming out on the 28th of February instead of the 30th of January like it was initially supposed to. While fans are a little disappointed about the slight delay, it makes sense that they would release the episode after the whole craze of the Olympics ends. However, they never revealed when the next episode of NCIS would be coming out, but since both shows usually air their episodes on the same day, it would only make sense for NCIS to come out with NCIS Hawaii. Now, is a potential crossover in the works? One thing fans have been wondering for ages is if there will be a crossover between NCIS and NCIS Hawaii. It would only make sense for a crossover to happen at one point, since both shows are in the same universe. But so far, there wasn't really confirmation on it. To the fans, it seemed like wishful thinking, but there was always a sliver of hope that it would happen at some point. But could this unexpected delay change that? Well, it seems like the showrunners heard what fans wanted and are making it happen. In early January of 2022, NCIS actor Wilmer Valderrama revealed that the show would be crossing over with NCIS Hawaii for one episode. He even revealed that the episode would be coming out on Monday, March 28th. The showrunners of NCIS were actually asked if there would ever be a crossover between the two shows anytime soon a few months back, and one of the showrunners, Stephen D. Binder, actually said that nothing had been planned back then, but he said that he'd known Chris Silber, NCIS Hawaii's showrunner, for a very long time and were great friends. Later on, Chris Silber was asked the same thing and said that he was always open to the idea of a crossover as long as CBS would allow it. Well, it seems like CBS ended up coming on board anyway. Next, Inveer Jokai's exit making things worse. Almost all of NCIS's original characters have now left the show. That's not really that big of a surprise, since the series has literally been going on for over 18 years. So, when rumors about Inveer Jokai leaving the show first started arising, fans were prepared for the worst. Like the series being cancelled is the worst. The rumors first started after the most recent episode of NCIS came out, where Joe and Jane went on a date together and even ended the episode with a kiss. However, later on, they revealed that Joe would be transferring to another state, far away from Jane. Many fans think that this is the show's way of announcing that the actor will be leaving the show. If things couldn't get any worse, the actor is actually credited as a guest star, or a recurring character, which only added fuel to the fire. But because of the recent postponement of the show, we won't know if the actor is actually leaving until the end of the month. We'll just have to wait for what happens next to find out. Now that we've gone over everything you needed to know about the two shows being postponed, here's some other NCIS news. Vaikik Mangasarian passes away due to COVID-19. Actor Vaikik Mangasarian, who appeared on NCIS Los Angeles and The Mentalist, just passed away due to COVID-19 complications at 78. The news was announced by his manager, who confirmed that the actor was vaccinated vaccinated against the virus. Vajkic played the role of a fake Iranian president on Curb Your Enthusiasm and was a pretty important part of that whole storyline. Vajkic was also one of the only actors that were on the parent series of NCIS called JAG. He was actually filming for a movie called Moving On with Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda, and even shared pictures of him on the set on social media. He started off his career back in 1978 in The South Shark when he was just 35 years old. A few months before he died, the actor talked about his controversial views on the vaccine and said that he thought the whole pandemic was part of a conspiracy. He would even regularly post on Facebook, spreading misinformation about the virus, but he ended up getting vaccinated anyway. Things got pretty bloody during some of the episodes. During the last few episodes of NCIS, Nick Torres had been undercover and fighting basically everywhere he went. The actor, Wilmer Valderrama, actually spoke out and said that the fighting genuinely hurt him. This shouldn't be too surprising, considering the fight scenes were pretty intense and looked basically impossible to do without getting hurt. The actor said that while it was pretty challenging to do the scenes, he's still very blessed that he was able to be there to do the scenes himself. He later talked about how much respect he has for MMA fighters and cage fighting, and said that it was an honor to showcase the sport. Wilmer Valderrama's character, Nick Torres, didn't really get much attention, but after his post, many people started appreciating his character along with some of the other characters that get overlooked. LeVar Burton talks about coming back to the NCIS franchise. Even though LeVar Burton is best known for his work with Star Trek, he actually has a lot of experience with the NCIS franchise. Burton had directed 10 episodes of NCIS New Orleans, which served as one of the first few episodes of the series. He's also directed a few episodes of the parent series, JAG. Burton said that while he did struggle working with an entirely different crew and actors than he was used to, he still found the whole experience healing. He said that working in Hawaii, of all places, was probably the most relaxing experience that he'd ever had, and that he had a great time directing the show again. But no one really knows if LeVar Burton will ever return for another episode anytime soon. But considering how much he enjoyed working on the set, it wouldn't be too surprising if he revealed that he was going to work on a few more episodes. Vanessa Lachey reveals that she got a very painful injury. Vajkic Mangasarian wasn't the only one that got hurt really badly while filming for the show. Actress Vanessa Lachey from NCIS Hawaii said that she actually hurt herself after the first episode of the show. In the scene, Vanessa had to run very fast, which caused her to pull muscles all over her body. What's worse is that the scene was only 3 seconds long in the pilot. Despite all the risks that come with being the female lead of the show, Vanessa says she's super excited for playing Agent Jane, since this is the first female lead of NCIS. She said that she's honored to represent female agents and put a spotlight on them. Vanessa said she'd like to help in normalizing women being in this kind of a position by playing Special Agent Jane. That's a wrap for today's video. We'll see you next time.